I want to ask you, for those that aren't into entrepreneurship, but they may be unhappy at their jobs, they just like are miserable. What would your advice be for them to find their passion?
A lot of people are unhappy at work because they don't have great relationships with the people at work. I feel like I've always had I shouldn't say a good time, but work was never too much of a stress unless it was the workload, because I figured out how to manage other people. And I think that's the biggest key. So if you're working at a job and you haven't found the job that is for you just yet, work on managing those relationships, and I promise you those people will figure out how to get you to the passion that you really want to do. So for example, and I'm the person I'm never at my desk. I would be talking to everybody in every other department, like, hey, how you doing today? What's for breakfast? You want to go to lunch? And then I would go to my desk and be like, okay, let me do my work. And then I'd get back up around 2 o'clock and be like, so what are you doing? What's your name? You're new. So just managing those relationships, but it's another form of networking. And if your goal is to be in marketing, but you work in the call center, hang out with the people in marketing. Offer to do some work for them, some sample work for them. Offer to give advice, offer suggestions. Get to know them so that way when that position pops up, hey, remember me from the lunchroom? Oh yeah, okay, did you like that work that I did? And then always asking for feedback. You should never not know what your manager is thinking, so that's just managing up. And then in the meantime, hustle to find what that passion is and look for what that passion is and try to build your circle around people who are doing those things. I promise if you put yourself around, like you never want to be the smartest person in the room, and that's something I had to work on in 2018. I actually stopped going to masterminds because I could not find a group that I felt I was being fed instead of giving the entire time. So find circles where you are not the smartest person in the room, and those people are going to help you find that passion. And sometimes it might be networking events where everybody is 10, 15 years older than you. Those are the best, actually. When you're the youngest person in the room, they just want to help because you're the youngest person in the room. And they have the connections that you would have to build 5, 10 years over time. So I think all that really just clumps into work on being good at what you're doing now while you're fishing for the next opportunity. I had a friend who was like, I got a really bad review. I need to leave. I need to be an entrepreneur. No, dog. If you can't do this, if you can't figure this out, you can't figure out what's next. So I would just say work on that while you're working on finding your passion, so that way you feel happier.
So we have finding your vision. You gotta have that first. Taking that leap. Once you find that, start doing it. Taking that leap. And if you don't like where you're currently at, find out how you can work where you're currently at to get where you want to go. My last question before we get to any questions the audience has is, because like I said, everybody's vision for success is so different. You can't look at somebody else's success and be like, oh, that's what I want. So I want to ask you, what is your definition of success?
I think we're accustomed to always thinking our definition of success has to be, I'm going to make $1 million, or I'm going to be the CEO of some company, or I'm going to be, this big time, big shot, rich person. For me, success, I do themes every year. So 2017 was the Get Money year. Let me explain that a little bit. Get Money, I wasn't rich, but the Get Money year was I had to make money in my side business every single month. Whether it was $1 or whether it was $100 or whether it was $1,000, I had to bring in some form of income from the business. So I had a Get Money playlist that had some real ratchetness on it. I said every morning I'm gonna wake up and feel like I'm a mix between Rihanna, Blue Ivy, and Rick Ross on a yacht. And so I listened to it every single morning, and so that was 2017, and it came true. Every month I made money. And then 2018 was the bring in more business year, so I did that. And then 2019 success for me, and this is how I mean, your success can be so small. They don't have to be so big, because big feels overwhelming, but every day I just want to do something that is going to make me more disciplined. Discipline for me is 2019, and if I can be disciplined I feel like I've been successful, because discipline is what's going to lead you to the bigger picture 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And I said in 2019, if I could say that at least 80% of the year I got up on time, went to the gym, finished work on time, and did what I needed to do, then I feel like I would be successful.
That's love. Man, I got gems. Did y'all get some gems out of that?